The Green Edition, in association with the Root Brands, inspiring greatness with natural solutions for people to reach their highest and healthiest potential.
Hello and welcome back to The Green Edition, where we are talking all things health, business and economics with CEO and wellness expert Clayton Thomas. We will look to find the root cause of what's happening in our world today and unpack it a bit further. Of course, whilst the Root Brands is the presenting sponsor of the program, all the opinions and views in the following segment are of course in general in nature and not to be taken as medical advice. Now with that out of the way, we can get stuck into our topic and welcome Clayton Thomas to the program. It's good to see you again.
Michael, welcome back. Thanks for having me. Let's get green, baby.
Thank you. Let's get green. So while the world looks to create a more green buying environment, which was started at, I understand, with the introduction of organics, non-GMO, gluten-free, I understand you believe the reality is that living on this planet, there is no such thing as pure organic or non-GMO or these gluten-free products that we're being sold and promised that are free of heavy metals and I guess environmental toxins. Take us through what you've seen and what do you mean by all these different terms?
Is it not crazy that we actually have to have the conversation about like products and produce being organic, that chemicals, pollutants, things like glyphosate, which is Roundup, which has been used for over 50 years now to poison our food supply with the initial point of saying that we're killing off pests. But this chemical actually destroys the organ system of plants, which also destroys our organ system when it's consumed. So when you look at the environment, if we're talking organic, there's no such thing as organic anymore because the air, the water, the soil are all polluted and toxic. So even if someone is growing organic, if they haven't cleaned up the soil completely, and if they haven't cleaned out the groundwater that is actually feeding the plants, and if they haven't cleaned up the air and the sky, then your food supply is still being polluted. And unfortunately, when we look at being non-GMO, you really don't have any options because a lot of the crops are crossbred because of the exposure in the environment. But the big thing comes down to this whole gluten-free conversation, right?
Okay.
Who wants to be gluten-free? When I was growing up, we didn't have a gluten intolerance. We didn't have problems with peanuts. Right? So what's the problem? Is it the gluten? No. The problem is actually glyphosate, that this chemical, this Roundup, that's sprayed on all of our crops, not just wheat. It's kind of crazy that if you want the alternatives, then you look towards chickpeas, you look towards rice, you look towards garbanzo beans. And what's terrible is chickpeas and garbanzo beans are some of the most toxic substances because they're sprayed with glyphosate after they're harvested to dry them quicker, which means they can be grown organic, but they're completely polluted. Right. So you've got this Clayton, game.
As usual, you're making me very anxious about the world we live in. Let's talk a little bit about the aspirational aspect of all of this, and are there products that the Root Brands are offering, and I don't know how you've managed to sort of offset these issues we're seeing when it comes to heavy metals and the environmental toxins that we're consuming based on what you've told me. How are we fighting back?
So you've got the foundation of clean slate for what it does for cleaning up the environment, and it will assist the body in removing glyphosate and these other chemicals and pollutants. But then you have to address your gut. You've got to feed your gut with some of the tools that it can use to regenerate and bring that leaky gut back together, right? So we have products like Relive Greens, Restore, Give Me Back My Youth that are designed to allow your gut to regenerate. And the coolest part is this: your gut changes every 2 weeks. So this process of actually seeing improvements is actually something that can take place really quickly. You don't have to wait a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months to start to see improvements. It's something you can do in days.
Which is very good to hear. So what is one takeaway you would like viewers to sort of walk away with based on the discussion we've painted today with everything that's going on in the world with our farming and the products we're consuming?
Don't put as much of a focus and fear into the environment as far as what you're eating. One, you should be able to eat not just for sustenance, but for enjoyment and pleasure. But you got to work to clean up the mess. If you're going to eat food in this world, if you're going to continue to breathe, if you're going to drink water, if you're going to drink fluids, you've got to make sure that you're cleaning up this operating system to allow your body to do what it needs to do. So clean things up first. Give your body the garbage trucks it needs to clean up the mess the same way the garbage truck comes through your neighborhood.
Absolutely. I'm loving that metaphor, and it's definitely something more of us should start to look at, I think, when it comes to, the new year, stepping into a new year, taking, responsibility for our health. But Clayton, if people want to learn more a bit about you and a bit about the branding, where should we be looking?
Take some time, go on the line to www.therootbrands.com/product. Or when you go to the website, it'll ask you for a code and use code product. But go to therootbrands.com/product. Check this stuff out. Get some for yourself. Try it. You'll love it.
Easy as. Clayton, thank you so much for joining us on the program. As always, I look forward to speaking to you again down the track. And of course, thank you to all of you for tuning in. I hope you found something to consider some research into, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Be well, stay healthy.